Hey, this is Wayne Barnes with Kaplan Bar Review, here with another of our videos to help you with the bar exam. So I teach contracts among other subjects for Kaplan Bar Review, and so that's my area of expertise, and it's one of the subjects, of course, you need to know as you're studying and getting ready for the bar exam. And of course, you're going to need to learn all of the law in your contracts outline as well as the other subjects. But you know, in each subject, there's usually one or two topics that are the most tested areas on the bar exam, and we know this because we collect the data both on the multi-state bar exam and on the essay portion. And in the area of contracts, there's one clear area that's the most tested, and it is the area of formation. The rules on forming contracts. And you know what that involves? Offer, acceptance, and consideration. You remember that from your contracts course in law school, and you're going to come back to it in spades on the bar exam. Now, when you just say formation, offer, acceptance, and consideration, you think, oh, that's not too much, right? Well, actually, there's a fair bit contained within the formation concept. So I just want to quickly, without spelling out all the rules, I just want to give you a highlight of a preview of coming attractions of what all is covered in the area of formation. And these are the areas you're going to want to really focus on because you want to study where the points are, right? You're going to want to know all of the law, but you want to really spend your time in the areas that are most frequently tested. That's where you get the most bang for your buck in using your time. So real quickly, follow along with me. I'll tell you about what all is covered frequently in the area of formation. So first, the offer, right? Now there's a lot of things here. When is there an offer? We view it objectively. We look at what's manifested. What does the human say? You know, I offer to sell you my car for X dollars. What would a reasonable person think about that? What is the intent behind it? Was it preliminary negotiations or was it intent to be bound? What do we do with ads? Can those be offers? What about rewards? $500 for my lost dog. Are those offers or are they something else? You'll be wanting to learn about all that. Look at the next items on this list. Once an offer is made, there's a lot of ways that the offer can be terminated, right? And so there's a lot of questions about termination of offers or power of acceptance. Quickly, death. What if I make an offer to you and before you accept it, I die? What if I lose my legal capacity? I go legally insane. How about revoking the offer? Revocation of offers. I give you an offer to sell you something and then while you're thinking about it, I take it back, I withdraw it. That's area of revocation is covered, and revocation can be direct or indirect. You'll need to learn about that. Offers are generally freely revocable. If you want to prevent revocation, that's where the issues of option contracts and firm offers under the UCC come in. There also are other ways to hold an offer open, such as by promissory estoppel and beginning performance of a unilateral contract. Again, don't want to go through these rules in detail. There'll be time for that later, but I just want to show you what all is within the purview of formation. Going on down the list, sometimes offers get rejected. What does that mean? What does that do? What about a counteroffer as opposed to an inquiry? So I offer to sell you my car for $5,000. You say, I'll give you $4,000. What's the effect of that? That's part of formation. Supervening illegality. I offer to do something, do a service for you, and before you accept, the city or the state or the country bans it. Right? What does that do? Well, spoiler alert, it takes the offer off the table. Maybe there's destruction of subject matter of bargain. I've offered to sell you my horse, right? And while you're thinking about it, the horse dies. So the subject matter of the proposed contract has been destroyed. Finally, lapse of time. You know, offers don't last forever. They're not like diamonds or, you know, the Highlander or whatever. They're gonna eventually expire. And so how long does it take for an offer to lapse? So that's all just within offer. If you look at the next big component of formation, we got acceptance. Now, acceptance, generally what is that? It's saying yes to the offer, but there's a lot of things to consider here as well. We talk about the mirror image rule. At common law, the acceptance must match the offer pretty much exactly. And if it doesn't, then it's a counteroffer. What about the timing? And this is where the mailbox rule comes into play. If you do want to accept an offer, when does that take effect? If you do it by mail, is it when you drop it in the mail, or is it not until your acceptance is actually received by the offeror? That's a thing, the timing of which we'll talk about. Then these last couple of points, you study the common law rules, but then we learn about the Uniform Commercial Code and the UCC, which if we have a contract for the sale of goods, it changes these common law rules in some important ways. And so speaking of the mirror image rule, a couple of rules that you'll want to know is first UCC 2206. So a buyer offers to buy widgets from someone, or let's say copy paper from a certain copy paper company, and they offer to buy it, and the copy paper company responds either by promising to ship it, or maybe they just ship the goods, and maybe it's the thing that was asked for, conforming, or maybe it's not. Well, the UCC has some things to say that change the common law rule in some important ways. And then there's good old UCC 2207, the battle of the forms. What happens when the parties try to transact via pre-printed forms, but the forms don't match up? They're not mirror images of each other. Well, you may remember studying this in law school, and you'll be wanting to learn about it again for the bar exam. Finally, the third kind of trifecta, the third part of the trinity of contract law is consideration. So offer, acceptance, and consideration. Well, what's consideration? Well, you'll learn its legal value and exchanges of legal values in a bargain for exchange. So there's got to be legal value there. There's got to be bargain for exchange. So I offer to pay you $10,000 to paint my house, right? Why am I giving you the $10,000? So you'll paint my house. Why are you agreeing to paint the house? Because you want the $10,000. We'll learn that you need those legal values. When do we have them? When do we not? Some of the final issues that come up in consideration, illusoriness. Maybe it looks like a promise of value, but when you think about it, it's really illusory. There is no commitment there. That's a problem. Gratuitous promises. I promised my nephew to give him a new car for his birthday. This is an extreme hypothetical, by the way, but I promise him something for nothing. Well, there's no consideration there. And we'll talk about that in the area of consideration. Past consideration. Someone does something good for you, and you promise after the fact to give them money. Well, we'll learn that generally doesn't work, although there's some exceptions. And finally, there's promissory estoppel, which you may recall involves detrimental reliance on a promise. That can be a consideration substitute. Okay. I covered a lot just now, but by the way, that is all in the area of formation, and that is right at the top of your list on the topics that are most frequently tested in contracts. You're going to want to know those and other related areas very, very well. That is the absolute best time you can spend in contracts. Learn the other areas as well, but know that formation is at the top of the list. You want to know those things cold, and that's what I want to tell you in this video. Let us know if you have any comments down in the section below, and otherwise stay tuned for more bar exam videos from Kaplan Bar Review.